Howdy legends. This episode we have Todd Cooper on the show, and he is the healthiest 49-year-old I know, runs multiple businesses and has a non-for-profit that collects rubbish out of the waterways. So tune in, let's go. This is just on Jonty James.
What's up? Are you on record? We're on record.
We are on record. This is Just On with Jonty James, and today I have the one and only Mr. Todd. First of all, I'd like to thank you for having me in your space and for gracing me with some delicious kombucha. I couldn't not buy some of this kombucha for this talk. Seeing as this is a staple in your diet. First of all, how much of this kombucha would you consume on a weekly basis?
On a weekly basis, like a pretty decent amount, you know. Couple liters. Couple liters in a week probably. I like it. Yeah, the probiotics works really well for my gut.
Yeah.
Stabilize the gut, and it's like a nice treat, you know.
Yeah.
It's a nice something besides water. Other than that, I pretty much just drink water. So.
Yeah. And why do you choose this specific magic potion kombucha?
Oh, I mean, I'm pretty open-minded. There's a couple other good ones now popping up, but it's the ingredients, you know. It's just juice, and it's like organic juice, and then the kombucha. Yeah, you really can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, fermented goodness.
Yeah, some of them they put all kinds of weird stuff in there, and it's just not necessary. And stevia, and some people like stevia. Nothing against stevia. It's just not just juice, kombucha. Because a lot of it is. I do drink it for the probiotic benefits as well. I find the ones that seem a little more processed as well don't seem to feel
not as good. Yeah.
I was brewing it myself for a long time. I brewed my own kombucha for the past few years. And that one I would really feel the stomach. It was like a really good SCOBY, and so that one, you know, and because the magic potion, and I was traveling some and things, so it was hard to take care of my little SCOBY baby.
Right.
Which after like 3 years I'd become attached to, you know.
3 years of growing the SCOBY.
I think at least 2, because it was from,
Wow.
Say 2.5, 2 to 3 years, and it's a living organism or organisms.
They're cool. They're really it's like a big floppy white pancake looking thing floating in a big jar.
Exactly. Yeah. And it like multiplies, and it's like.
Would you donate your SCOBY to other people?
I sold it. Yeah. I mean, I
sell
ended
it
up
as well.
getting. I know, right? I basically got rich. Yeah, it was the $1 million SCOBY.
Yeah.
And. No, I just put it on Marketplace, but I didn't want it to just be like free for some reason, you know. And so I put because I had a bunch of them. I had like 10 of them at one point.
You scoop
the
it
little
out.
scope. Yeah, you can, and then I wasn't making a whole bunch of it too, and so I'm like, I've got all these SCOBYs. I'll just see if anyone, and then someone came and gave me like $5 or something just to make it
sweet.
But went into the SCOBY business. It's not a bustling market. I thought I would have people coming out with gates for the SCOBY, but I was like, what? But
cool.
That was good. And this lady showed up and had her daughter with her, which was kind of cool because seeing that curiosity and that fascination in the SCOBY and like what this thing was, and it was like going to like a new family, like I said, you're sort of attached to it. So I was like, you can now. It was more of an adoption type of process.
Okay, cool. Thank you for sharing that. And this is part of the segue that I'd like to go down on this conversation with you. First of all, I really admire you for your consistency and commitment to health and for nourishing your health. You're the healthiest like older dude that I know. You're still pretty young. Are you 49?
Yeah.
49, and you're like beaming with health, which I really admire. And second of all, in our conversations, you've built some really cool businesses and had some really cool experiences along with doing some wild things, surfing some big waves, shredding some gnarly powder on your snowboard. playing music, traveling, doing all sorts of incredible things. So first, I want to get into your health. So you're 49, you're beaming with health. You did unfortunately just break your foot surfing, which is pretty epic though. You know, you're pulling in on your backhand, snap the ankle on a double overhead barreling day by yourself with no one else around.
Yeah, pig dog airdrop.
Pig dog airdrop.
Yeah, but it happens.
Yeah, cool.
It's fun tax.
Yeah, and you were fresh off the plane from a 6-week trip in America, so yeah, kudos to that. So health, I want to understand a little bit more about your health, your ideas around living a healthy life. Like, what does a healthy life mean to you, and how do you stick to that?
Well, to me, that is richness. That's what rich is. You know, someone was like, "Are you rich?" I'd be like, "If I was healthy, yes." You know, because that's the most important thing. That's something. Body is just a vessel, so you can be spiritually healthy in a not healthy body, but I don't know. That's been challenging for me to know. I just don't like feeling not good. I want to feel as good as I can. Plus, as a leader of businesses, and people are counting on me, so I want to perform at my best. So I just like winning too, so like you just want
the part of winning.
whatever the battle is, like whatever it is, even when we're just playing hoops, when we're just playing king of the court, like every point is like the championship for me, And so I just want to be, it's a lot of it, it's not say to live longer, but it's to be happy when I'm living and to be as mobile as possible. You don't use it, you lose it. So for me, it is like the most important thing it's almost like a currency,
100%, like the more time you put into your health, the more you can thrive in your everyday life, right? So what do you do for your health? What are some of the main things that you do that enable you to stay healthy? Like food, movement, how would you go about?
So as consistency, I think, is a lot of it. So I do have a pre-med degree in human physiology. And when I was studying it, a lot of it was around nutrition and it was in an exercise base, like looking at human physiology with exercise as a stressor. So the kind of ways that the body responds to, you can kind of study all of physiology that way. Like, physiology needs some sort of stressor to really look at it and have something happening. Otherwise, physiology is moving, it's fluid, it's over time.
So the reactions, every action and the equal and opposite reaction, and then you can measure what's happening. Is that kind of what you're referring to?
Basically, everything's going one direction or the other, right? So you never totally achieve homeostasis, and things are constantly moving, so you need to renew it. So that's why the consistency is so important, right? And every day, and it's like a daily multivitamin. Which of course is super controversial, right? I know some people think that the multivitamins aren't as good or whatever. I'm saying like whatever you can get into your body. I do take a multivitamin. I take a bunch of other supplements, including like GABA and olive leaf extract, some random stuff, but definitely wanting to have omegas, Antioxidants are like a good thing.
Through food or through supplements?
So I like food, everything's whole food based. So the supplements I go after are whole food based, so it's bioavailability, maximum bioavailability.
So extracted just from foods, not actually synthetically made supplements.
And not broken down, so it's still in the form that your body, so like the powders and stuff too, the like 1 powders and protein powders, and also eating a lot of vegetables, meat. I'm gluten-free, dairy-free. I don't drink alcohol, don't drink caffeine, except for in the kombucha a little bit, but I don't drink like coffee or teas.
And you haven't? Like, when was the last time you were a coffee or a caffeine drinker? Or was that a thing?
It's been like over a decade, I reckon. I used to own a coffee shop, I used to own a cafe, so that's something that, and it's not so much that I have a problem with it or think that other people shouldn't. Like, go ahead, like if that works for you. Especially a lot of people who are into training, some caffeine right before you train can actually increase your performance, right? You're gonna get more reps or whatever, and that equals more results. So not saying caffeine's bad. It just was something that, yeah, just didn't agree with me, and like I decided to not do a lot of it. I know you actually mentioned it because
I've just cut out coffee, mate, matcha. I know I'm having a kombucha here, which has a little bit of caffeine in it, but for the most part cut out the daily or the twice daily caffeinated beverage. And had to go through some I couldn't tell. It was when I was with this tick illness at the same time. I couldn't tell if it was headaches from the caffeine withdrawals or if it was headaches from the tick poison in my body. But I just joined the two together at the same time. I was like, well, why not just cut caffeine? For the main reason of trying to access all the organic high quality drinks that I want to drink overseas is just a bit hard. And I only really want to drink high quality and consume high quality products. So yeah, I decided just to give it the cull for now.
So I think that, and I remember something you said when we were talking about before, that it's kind of the dependence on it. And that's what coffee becomes for me. Everyone's different. Some people can just have one day and then none the next day. But for me, it becomes like, if I haven't had it by noon, if I haven't had my coffee, then I get the headache and I'll get the withdrawals. And so then like you said, you have to, and then now, if you're traveling and you're just like, oh, I have to have this coffee now because it's my schedule, it's my coffee time. That's fine. I just didn't like that. And so, that said, I still am kind of, a lot of health for me is patterns and routines. And I have the green smoothies every day because I like to blend up I get more
the greens powders
absorption.
And stuff like that.
Yeah, I put a ton of powders. Like so much stuff in there.
Yeah.
Everything from spirulina and noni juice and maca and vitamin C powders and just all kinds of things. Yeah. So, and then I get pretty much every day if I'm if it's available, at least most days a week. And and then the vitamins, mainly just so that it is available for my body. Whatever my body needs, it's there. So while I'm healing from this injury in particular, I have kind of upped everything. I probably put on a little weight too, but that's fine because that means there's even a surplus. Whatever my body needs,
and they can use that energy to heal a little more. And it's all clean food, right? So it's just the body doing its job. Yeah, and I mix it up different times or different things. So I'm kind of doing what I'm doing now, but and sometimes I will do sort of an intermittent fasting, not too long. I'm always open to trying different things, but with the main concept, staying hydrated, because your body is constantly in flux. So it's like you're hydrated and everything's great, and then next thing you know, you're dehydrated again. So it's this constant thing of just water. So I'm always drinking, and that's why the kombucha, because sometimes you just get tired of drinking water. You want something a bit fun,
and that still has a pretty good, and you're actually going to get a higher absorption of the water as well with a little bit of carbohydrates like that in there. Different topic for a different day, but so staying hydrated, of course, it's cliche time, but you get staying hydrated and then keeping, just getting a good balance of vegetables, different colored vegetables, different types of proteins, plant-based. I do meat-based proteins as well, and then but a little bit here and there. Just try to keep everything balanced.
And
eat food,
what about processed foods? Do you avoid processed foods?
I mean, ideally, I wouldn't. So I used to own an organic cafe in Eugene, Oregon. Everything was made from scratch, and that was sort of the concept of it. It was there's not really a whole bunch of stuff
so it's making it like it's all homemade, basically.
And kind of farm to table mostly. Cool. There was always a couple things.
This was a Mexican restaurant?
No, we did everything. It was it was with a coffee shop, and it was a cafe deli. So we did breakfast, lunch, and dinner actually, and had soup, salads. But we made burritos, and we rolled the tortillas out from scratch.
Organic
tortillas made from scratch. Rolled out fresh for each burrito. It was so freaking tasty, to be honest. And then the soups were crazy because it was all this organic, pretty farm fresh things made into these soups. The chanterelle mushroom, the mushroom pickers would come out and just come to the restaurant and be like, oh, I just picked some chanterelles this morning, and then we'd make cream of chanterelle mushroom soup, and
that'd be the special of the day or something.
So food's food is my love language too. So food's being really important to me, and so having Yeah, good organic made from scratch, and and that was people who come in, they'd be like, "What? I don't feel bad after I leave. When I eat out other places, I feel bad. I feel like crap.
Oh, you feel heavy, yeah.
And it's like I've been to the restaurant supply stores and I've seen the wholesale what they order, and some of that stuff's like it's scary.
Like bulk oils, bulk powders, and fillers, and all sorts.
I remember even the the cheapest fry oil I would buy, it was like $50 or $60 for the big thing, and then there was one option that was $5. You know what I mean?
$5,
and it was just like this, this like sketchy.
What was it? I wonder what
Probably
it
those
was.
ones, when you start to see the red and it like separates out with the weird bubbles, and like you can go pretty low. And there was big powder things of MSG. You could buy like MSG powder and just like whatever.
Flavor enhancer 261 or 265 or whatever it's called.
No, exactly. The colors and whatever. I mean, you can go buy it. And so it was about it's saves a lot of money. Well, we had saved money a lot, and then what's weird though is then they end up throwing all that food away. Like a lot of those restaurants, there's so much food waste, it's crazy. Like a huge, one of the big bins or two a day of like just food that either goes bad because they weren't paying attention to how much they were ordering, or just because people weren't finishing it. But I promise you, people were finishing our food. There was we had a little food scraps thing too to compost, and it would be like this much compost, and even in the back it was done. I would take some home for like my dog or whatever, but like there was not much food being.
So really efficient business, organic food, local produce, all made from scratch. Like that's really how the future of all food businesses should be, in my eyes. Like imagine if we lived in a world that was that. Like, man, people would be thriving.
It would be pretty cool, and people would come and get the coffee grinds for their farms as compost and pick up compost bins, and then there was one guy who would come and get the cooking oil for biodiesel for his car and stuff, the whole circular economy is definitely a big theme.
That's really cool. What inspired you to start that business originally?
I think I was just hungry, and there was no good burritos.
There was no good healthy food places in town.
So I don't like to complain, and when I see there's something that I'm like, why are there no that many organic? Why is there no all organic places where stuff is this is not good? Because a lot of places it's like, oh, it's organic, and they put it up there, but then there's just still a bunch of garbage in there. It's like just and I love it. I love the organic junk food as much as anybody. Cheers to the kombucha,
Oh, nowadays you can buy organic everything pretty much, and loaded with organic cane sugar, which what is it? It's just the same thing as sugar, right? It does the same thing to the body. Maybe it's not genetically modified, but it's still sugar, and it's still going to spike your insulin like crazy.
Sugar by any other name still smells as sweet.
And tastes as sweet.
Shakespeare said, or rose by any other name. Still smells as sweet. But I know what you're saying, and so it really is those finer deals, attention. And also not worrying about it too much. Like I said, I've got so many organic cookies right now, and it's at some point you got to be happy too. I really like to, that's because food is a big.
Well, it's a huge part of our life, right? I think with the snacks thing, nowadays there's so many options, and particularly organic and healthier versions. So the things that you might traditionally have liked as a kid or growing up, you can find an organic version of them these days. And with that, it can not so much a guilt-free snack, but when you eat stuff like that in moderation, you're still getting that deliciousness that you really like, that hedonistic hit. And it's also healthier for you. And if you can moderate it, of course we should be eating our favorite foods and enjoying ourselves.
Yeah. And the difference between evaporated cane juice and high fructose corn syrup is pretty dramatic, and the way it affects your body and stuff. So it makes a big difference.
Some high fructose corn syrup. Imagine having a shot of that right now.
Just boom.
Yeah, a big cup full of it.
Just or just on your spread it on your toast.
Yeah, spread it.
Just some.
You're shaking.
Oh, you can go down to the restaurant supply store and buy it. I'm sure you can just go get it.
Yeah. And it's loaded with glyphosate as well, right? From production.
Oh yeah. But again, not trying to. I understand the need for that stuff too, but trying to more focus on just doing the best as possible, because it's never perfect. Everything has an impact, and even organic farming is trying to go next level with like no chemicals at all, just doing all bio.
Well, like biodynamics, kind of the next level, right?
Yeah.
And then the next stage is what, like wild farmed, wild sourced, wild farmed.
Go back to hunter and gatherer.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah, I actually found my wheat out in the bush, deep in the hills, and I brought it all back with me, and I ground it down, and I made some sourdough with it.
So you wouldn't
I made the best sourdough in the world.
Well, hunter and gatherers actually, I know, right? It would be good when have you ever done that if you grind your own like wheat?
Found it in the wild as well.
And just like, I didn't know there was wild wheat, but I guess there is, huh?
It's really wild everything.
Yeah.
You know, wild sourced.
Well, yeah, and you definitely could make grains, wild sourced grains, whether it's wheat or some other type of thing, and you know, even nut grains and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, and it tastes good if you grind it. You grind it up your own way. And hunter and gatherers had like, they would eat maybe 250 different foods in a year.
Yeah, because they're just sourcing from everything, right?
All these different things.
Roots, scrubs, different leaves, berries. Grains.
We maybe eat like 30 different things in a year. Like at the end of the day, you kind of get caught up in the same things. You're like broccoli and your
the force of habit, right? Yeah, it's like the same thing for me. Steamed broccoli, steamed zucchini, steamed carrots. You know, every now and again I'll get some beans as well. Chuck that in the steamer, but like that's the staple.
Yeah, exactly.
But like this last week being sick, I was like and I opted to take antibiotics because I was in a lot of fear around this thing really developing, which wasn't my first choice, but I think at the end of the day, I think the placebo effect actually worked. But I decided, okay, I need to rebuild my gut. So I went out and I went to the market and I was like, okay, cool, I need a whole bunch of different things to repopulate my microbiome. So I bought some tomatoes, I bought some capsicum, I bought cucumber, I bought some other leafy greens that I haven't had in a while, and some different fruits, some persimmon, I bought pears, I bought kiwi fruit, I bought all these things that I don't usually eat. And I had just a couple of them, and I just had those over the week as a way to repopulate my gut. And yeah, it's been feeling really good. I think that's a pretty good way to come back to health, right? Is to really look out and find different sources of foods that you're attracted to, and then to consume them in a way that your body can digest them.
Yeah, that's it. It actually does go back to the food, and getting it from the farmers markets and stuff is good. There's this one probiotic pill. There's different really good, like even the Flora series of probiotics are recognized by gastroenterologists as being effective. Right. Yeah, like now, like even that's just really in the last 10 years. But so and there's other ones too, all the lactobacillus and all those also like as a supplements. But we didn't really used to take the supplements, and it was like, fine, when did the microbiome, and actually a lot of it there's this one pill you can get that's actually just pretty much just dirt. Yeah. It's like a dirt pill.
It's like the fulvic acid stuff.
That's where the probiotics really come from right? The dirt, and then but because people wash it so much, and with the processed foods, it's completely just taken out. So
stripped.
You lose all the probiotics. So yeah, even when you're getting, it sounds, in the potatoes, I do wash my potatoes because I don't like the grittiness in my teeth, but I try to not overwash them too much.
Leave a little bit on there.
A little bit of dirt is good for the gut too, and having the different varieties. And then of course, having some acidophilus and whatever, all that other probiotics can't hurt.
Bringing foods in, same thing I bought this week. I bought as well some kefir, which is like some really potent kefir, which is like this dark, really fizzy stuff. Bought some sauerkraut as well. Bought some coconut yogurt. Like I just loaded up on all these like high probiotic foods. I was told by someone to repopulate the gut, he's like, just load up, take as many of these probiotics as you can, eat up all the sauerkraut and all this food. He's like, do it until you get diarrhea. And I'm like, probably not gonna do that. I think I'm just gonna listen to my body and just have a normal amount of these things.
Why the diarrhea? I don't see why that's a requirement. That's like a benchmark. Like, your gut's not repopulated yet. Yeah. You need more.
Yeah, until you got diarrhea.
Like, but I'm not.
Yeah, you're like, no. Okay, cool. So you had this this really epic organic cafe, which I admire so much. I really love that. now you have a business where you sell organic skin products. Could you briefly touch on the reason why you got into it in the first place and just the core idea behind the products that you make now? The organic ingredients, the combination.
Oh, sure, yeah, I can go quick. The edited versions, I can rip on that for hours. That's a whole nother series.
Yeah.
Podcast.
3 days later.
Oh my God, was anyone just make this guy stop talking? No,
we've got 20 minutes left.
Okay,
so.
no, I'll be good then. I'll be all right. No, it's so I basically, same thing, I don't like to complain. And so I had a garden supply store in between. Then now I'm like, okay, I want to do something different. And part of it was serendipitous and kind of random, but I have always been really unhappy with the personal care products and the way they're packaged and the ingredients, and it's just like, like I don't even need to explain that. Yeah. So I think we're all over it, and it's just like, and it's just, it gets tiring. And so I was just like, instead of complaining, I just made it. And well, it was actually looking to make a different product than the first product that was made was a multi-purpose ointment as an alternative to petroleum jelly. It was like, okay, I was making a product that was going to use petroleum jelly, but didn't want to use petroleum jelly because it's made from petroleum. Yeah. So I was like, it's literally, so I didn't realize what created this process for making the same texture out of like beeswax and oil. And then when we went to manufacturers to see if they could make it, they're like, we don't even know. And the equipment to do that didn't exist. So I ended up engineering the equipment, patenting the process, kind of as it took off because this product works really well. It's called Waxelene. Waxelene multi-purpose ointment is and it's just works really well for people's eczema because the process of creating the texture actually aerates it. So it allows the skin to breathe. You're getting the organic oils, nurtures the skin cells, and you're also getting that waterproof barrier. So it actually works better than all the petroleum jelly stuff. Yeah. So you're getting the same barrier, but it's actually breathable.
It's breathable and actually nourishing your skin rather than probably damaging it.
Yeah.
Petrol.
And the number one thing before you get to steroids for like eczema is petroleum jellies, what doctors recommend. So people get really good results from the Waxelene. There's just we have thousands of reviews, and I actually just saw some before and after pictures come in the email. This kid who gets it on his face, 3 days later it's just gone. And so like once those types of results happen, word of mouth kicks in, and
you're like, oh wow.
So it's been really it's been like a tiger by the tail of sorts because we sold a few million units of this stuff. Yeah, it's been in 15,000 stores.
Over how many years now?
12 years.
12 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
There was we sold close to 1 million units in a year, 1 year, maybe just, between 500,000 and 1 million, because it was in so many stores and kind of doing a high volume model with it at the registers of a lot of the big stores, and it's used by a lot of like celebrities, and we get a lot of press, and it's just been a popular product in the US. And so branding now, we're partnering with Skin Safe, who's funded by the Mayo Clinic, the leading authorities in sensitive skincare products. So basically the best scientists in the world.
And so you're making some new products with them?
Collaborating with them to make a range of sensitive skincare. Body wash and shampoos and conditioners and stuff like that, because so many of our customers have eczema.
Right, and they want something to wash their hair with or their body with. Yeah.
And it's the same thing, you go and it's a sensitive skin and it's just garbage. And then it's like, so we're already we're about to go into production on the first one. I'm still in the final bits of testing phase, but I have a pretty good idea what this is going to be like, and it's a good one. I'm excited about it. I'm like excited. It's the same thing where I'm like, why doesn't this exist? So I'm gonna make it, so now I can use it.
Yeah.
And like
nice shampoo for that big head of hair you've got.
Focusing on the body wash for now, because not really needing the shampoo or the conditioner for me personally. That's for everyone else. Yeah. But I will. It's still gonna do that. Starting with the body wash. Yeah. Otherwise, I can't really test it.
Yeah. It's true. Cool. I'll happily test some out for you.
You would be a good test for
I haven't used shampoo for 10 years, I don't think. Or
Really?
even longer now.
What do you use?
The Ocean.
The Ocean.
Yeah. There was a product that had apple cider vinegar and it had a few essential oils and like salt and a few other things in it that one of my ex-girlfriends was using, and I used that like twice, I think, and that was like a head scrub. And then I've done other things, like I've just like loaded my scalp in coconut oil just to nourish and hydrate the scalp, and also just to condition the hair as well. And then I'll just jump in the ocean. But other than that, yeah, I've just been, I guess it's that point where it's just the natural oils just recirculating, and I'm in the ocean every day, so.
And you don't get dreadlocks?
Not really, hey.
Okay.
No, like I'm
surprised.
pretty lucky. Like I run my hands through my hair every day, like in the water, just to like get a few of the knots out. But yeah, it's kind of like curly, but it doesn't like lock up like some people's hair does. But yeah, I'm excited. Maybe I'll start using shampoo when this new product of yours comes out. It might be the turning point in my life.
I mean, that's kind of how I was. I just didn't use any products. And I know a lot of like
couldn't
guys
find anything.
too, in particular, like, oh, guys don't use lotions and stuff. And it's like, because it's not, you know, as like socially, like this thing that was pushed on us, and then they're kind of gross, you know?
Yeah.
So until if you find a good one that actually work and it's not like gross and it actually does stuff, instead of just being like, putting chemicals on your body and in your body, like, then, yeah, you know. And I think, look, it ends up being kind of like a little more expensive, obviously, using all organic ingredients.
Down the line, you're supporting your health, right?
Yeah, and we do plastic neutral, so removing plastic from the waterways to offset the plastic that we do use in our packaging. We also offer glass jars and metal lid options. People who don't want plastic, but some people do.
Yeah.
So those are BPA free, 100% recyclable, and then we remove as much plastic from the waterways as we do. Cool. And that started, so I had some other friends that wanted to do that for their businesses. So we started KINA, which is Keeping It Neutral Australia, a not-for-profit here in Australia, where we remove plastic from the waterways and plant trees to offset the carbon footprint of removing the plastic from the waterways.
Dude,
and then
full circle.
Yeah, full circle, and so that's been going really well too. So you can do plastic offsets. Yeah, you just offset. So each offset that you purchase removes 1 kilo and plants a tree.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Okay, epic. I'd like to understand, amongst running all these businesses, setting up a really epic organic cafe, restaurant, having a garden supply business and selling some really incredible goods there, and then running this business where you sell organic skincare, which is helping thousands of people with their skin issues. What are some of the biggest challenges that you've faced in terms of running business, and some of the biggest learnings and lessons that you could pass on to other people that are wanting to run businesses regardless of what it is?
Well, there's a lot. That's again another, I can do a bit, I like that though, you know, like just give the overview. I think is accounting.
Accounting.
I know. It's like the podcast just went, oh, this just got really boring.
Accounting.
You gotta pull up a spreadsheet with all the numbers and start plugging in some formulas.
I'll put a link in the show notes for Todd's spreadsheet process. No, we won't. So accounting. Yeah. So being on top of the numbers, basically.
Yeah. Well, so that's what is like accountability, right? Accounting and then accountability. And I think part of the accountability is like just being accountable to the reason why you want to stay on top of your numbers, good for you, but also for everyone else you're doing business with, for the whole community, and just being responsible. And it's not that hard. That's the other thing. It's like, oh geez, responsibility and commitment and accounting, all these like scary words. And just be like, don't worry about it. Like if you really want to do this business thing, someone else, like, right, I identified these needs, this needs to happen. And then all of a sudden I had this idea and I felt like that means I need to do it. And then everyone else, like like a lot of it's worked, you know, people have liked them. I've sold the other 2 businesses successfully, and then this one focused on, but it's like, you just got to do it, but not neglecting certain parts, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes, like, if you know, it's like, if you don't do the accounting, or maybe you really like accounting, so your numbers, but you're not doing the marketing, or you're not doing this, or you're not, if you have a restaurant, it becomes really, accountability can be keeping it clean and making sure that the stuff in the fridge is getting rotated out and not like sitting back there rotting and things, you know? Just being accountable to yourself. You know, because if you have a business partner, it gives you more like, well, I want to be accountable. So you know, it's like, not be like, oh, I'm just like my best friend, and so he'll let it slide if I just do this thing, and you both can do it. It's better if you're like, no, this is like with my friend, I need to be extra accountable for their sake and for their sake and all these other people's sake, anyone who's working for us, and that if it's just you and it's in your head, you still actually need to have that same level of accountability that you would if you had a business partner.
Yeah. So and then get it out of your head and lay it out, basically.
Yeah. And yeah, exactly. And just doing, and it kind of comes back to the perspective of, going full circle, like you said, or the circular economy. And it's looking at that last page, you know. I think that's one of the things with the businesses when they're leaving, they're not looking at the waste. Like, oh, okay, we've sold the product, it's no longer our problem, and how that is in part of the waste management. They're not looking at that piece. I think that, and that's where I'm like, no, there's accountability there.
That's still our part.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's up for debate.
I think it shows, right? Like, what I'm getting from this is like also then applying to what you're talking about with your health. It's doing all of the things for your health, and it's going to show up. Like if you deny some part of your health, your physical health, your body, like that's going to show up in the long term, right? And so if you deny and you aren't accountable for a certain part of your own business, that's going to sting you at some point, right?
Yeah, and I like that. That is a good analogy, the health and the business, because it's the same thing where all you can do is get yourself as prepared for the now. Like a big part of my like personal growth and spirituality lately has been staying in the now, and then my job is literally to plan for the future and to like project into the future. So like I have to be present in the now, projecting into the future. Doing that present. Anyway, yeah. So there's a little bit of that, but yeah, I think. You can't really predict what's going to happen in the future at the end of it. It's just a plan. So you just want to go into battle as prepared as you can and give yourself as many tools. Like I said, just having as much for your body to have available, and then and the consistency. You know, I exercise every day so that if I do need to go into battle, I'm like ready. You know, and I was glad when I broke my ankle. It's been fine. Like I've been able to stay in shape, and I was flexible. Like if I hadn't been doing my stretching, I wasn't able to touch my toes. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like it wouldn't have been a good time to be learning that skill. Like I could already like touch my toes. Yeah. So like, it's
so
good.
You've already done all the things for your body. So now you can just kind of allow your foot to recover, but you're still fit. You've still been doing workouts at home, upper body, building core up, light stuff on the legs, keeping the body moving. I think as well the words that were coming to my mind, which I've written down many times, is being presently prepared. It's like we're present, but we're also prepared for the future. So we're presently prepared.
Yeah, exactly. Live like there's no tomorrow, but plan like you're going to live for 500 years. Yeah. And because you really don't know how long you're going to live. It could be, you know. So you really do want to enjoy every moment. But while you're here, you know, you do need to plan a little bit. And I guess the point, the bigger picture of the point being, both with health and with like a business, things can happen that are out of your control. And then there's certain things that are in your control. So you want to do the best you can with the things that are in your control so that you can be as prepared as possible for anything that is out of your control. And just being, I guess, honest with yourself about, because that's something I ran into with both of my business and my health, is like, I think I'm like so really good at this one thing, right? Like, You know, like I do mostly cardio is like my thing, right? So I run a 10K and I feel good. Now look at one of my friends, they're running 20K, you know? So there's always someone doing more, but you know, you can't like be hard on yourself, you know? Like you're never gonna be perfect. You can, you know, and like you're gonna have, you can do the best you can, but you also need to, yeah, I just don't like to get too stressed out about it. If I don't.
Comparison as well.
Kind of doing it for the right reasons, right? Like, and be like, oh, I have to do this, and I'm disciplined, and if not, I'm going to be mad at myself. Like, that's not going to be a healthy lifestyle. Like, just like kind of more convincing myself, oh, I'm so excited to go on my run. I can't wait to do this.
How good this is for me.
Yeah, and like just, oh my God, if I don't, like, I think of it as like brushing my teeth on the inside, you know? There's just some things like brushing my teeth I just do, and I like to go to the dentist and get my teeth cleaned. It just feels good, you know?
And then when you're running, you're eating healthy food, you're smashing goals at business, you're enjoying your life and surfing and having good hobbies and allowing yourself treats, like you are essentially brushing your teeth in all those areas of your life and nailing it. And just observing you and how you are is a result of obviously doing all those things for a consistent amount of time. So thank you. Yeah, thank you for being an inspiration. Where could people find you and your businesses online?
So Waxelene is WAXELENE.com. We do have free shipping in Australia. In US, and cool. Canada. Sweet. US, Australia, and Canada. Yeah, we're doing a major global expansion. Global. You can get in like 150 countries right now, but in different ways. But there's free shipping in Australia.
Cool.
And also available on Amazon.com.
Amazon.com.
.au.
And you've got Noe as well in Australia.
And that's that was that's closed down, but that's basically transitioned over to Waxelene, completely now. Yeah, just importing Waxelene, and so and also on socials, it's WAXELENE on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We're crushing on there. We're doing some discounts and stuff right now too, so definitely want to follow there. And then I'm President_Todd on Instagram. KINA. KINA, Keeping It Neutral Australia.org.au is the website and the handle on Instagram.
Cool.
And beautiful. Get involved, do some plastic offsets, remove some plastic.
Live a healthy life, grow an epic business. Boom. Thank you, my man, Todd. Appreciate you. And I look forward to what the future has in hold.
Yeah, likewise. For you too, it's going to be an exciting journey, and looking forward to seeing how the future unfolds.
Yeah,
in the present.
Might see you in Indo for a surf sesh when this foot's healed up.
I think it's going to be necessary.
Epic, brother. Woo!
All right.
Cool, man. Sick, dude.